get back to the presentations that you do in schools demonstrating the EMR levels. And have you seen any direct results from your having done this with their removing going to hardwiring? For, I would think that you would convince plenty to do the right thing.
It was directly with the teacher. So once I got to the teacher, I was able to help them make the changes, because they've got to have some level of technical knowledge on computers and all that to understand that you can turn off the antenna in your laptop. You can put it on airplane mode and connect through the Ethernet cable, but then everything else in there. Now the problem now with technology is that with the option to protect us is disappearing. Okay, so now their schools don't have routers where they're able to plug them off. Period. They put them in ceilings directly connected to the electrical grid so that they never power off, because other industries are benefiting from the field, such as electric power companies are bouncing all their information on usage through the signal, the Wi-Fi signal that we emit as cell phone users or citizens with routers in a home. It's creating this network of radiation for them to bounce information and to read, right? And it saved them tons of money, but you didn't get the bill, reduced. And as a matter of fact, you have to pay for that smart meter too. That's just not fair,
Absolutely. And that's good to know that it's resulting in that. And, I understand you have specific tips for approaching schools to get to speak. That if you'd be willing to share that, I thought it was rather unique.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I am in a school today, and it's a aesthetics and cosmetics and massage school. And through the students, we're getting to the kids, and through the kids and their parents, we're getting to the schools. And so now I'm being invited to kindergartens, daycare facilities, schools, high schools, and colleges. I have a tour planned for the two main colleges in Mexico City and Guadalajara, because somebody attended one of my presentations and I said, wouldn't it be good for all these kids that are here to learn this? And I said, absolutely, fly me there. And I go and talk and demonstrate this radiation. And it's so impressive to see how the students are very responsive, because I bring a microwave, a literally kitchen microwave, right? And I measure it in front of them with a high frequency reader. And then I ask somebody from the audience, come in here and, and let me have your phone, and we measure it, and it emits just the same radiation. And then I put a chair next to a router and I measure the router, and I said, okay, so for the next 4 hours, who wants to sit in that chair next to that microwave that's on? And everybody says, nobody. So I make them aware that there is a direction and a location for this radiation, and you just need to know how to protect yourself.
Great. Thank you. But also I wanted to point out, you mentioned you're speaking at colleges. That's wonderful. And also I wanted to point out that we have Virginia Farber is on the call today. Hello, Virginia. We've talked about you before with your story about your son, Rich, and she's also worked with Dr. Sam Milham. So I'm sure she's applauding that you're being invited into colleges. So we'll see if we can ramp up that work for you.
Hi, Alfredo and Chris. I wanted to tell you really quick that I can hear you perfectly fine. So
oh, you can.
Yes.
That's good to know. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Virginia, and thank you for all that great work you did with Dr. Milham.
Thank you. And like I said, I'm now to try and infiltrate the schools around here. Chris, I did a little bit of research over the weekend, and I typed in just 2019 school cancer clusters, and I've got 10 of them now across the nation. So, and of course we've been involved in the ones in California, and there's a couple of new ones here in Colorado. So
exactly,
this is becoming urgent.
It is, and thank you for mentioning that. And let's cover that more in our planning committee meetings coming up for Wired Schools,
right?
Because we're monitoring that. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that.
So to back up your point here, for me, it was a lot easier to work directly with the teacher or the parents to motivate the teacher without getting the system involved. Here in Mexico, it seems to be way easier to just say it and then getting it done than having to go through all the bureaucracy of why I'm not able to turn off my router, right? Why does only the school director has that ability, right?
Right, that's good. And maybe we can parlay your success in Mexico and kind of share that with the United States schools and say, look what they're accomplishing in Mexico. And, come on now, let's get with the program. Let's do right by our students.
For my next school inspection, I will videotape it and then have the teachers do some feedback.
Fabulous, fabulous. And if you would like, we can maybe do another conversation. If you like, I'd love to help you spread the word, and I bet Virginia would as well join us on that.
So this is really easy, and it's really getting involved, because I had to learn the technical ability to be able to get into a computer and turn the router off, okay, and then leave them wired, because I do that by the thousands now, and I know most computers, but I know that if I don't do it, their IT department's not going to help them. It's going to take them 10 days to get their requisition authorized, a service note. You see all those processes, you've got to forget about them. You just go directly to the teacher and boom, it happens. And now, next thing you know, 80 kids are not getting exposed.
There you go. And you can't argue with the results you're getting. So that's wonderful. But I'm also looking a little bit at the clock here. We're coming up about 45 minutes. So I have a few more questions left. And if it's okay, if anyone, like I'm saying, if you have questions for Alfredo, just post them into chat. And so feel free to get doing that. And we will officially, if that's okay, Alfredo, do you have any wrap-up comments to your presentation?
I just wanted to address the questions that one of the invitees from last week sent.
Yes.
With regards to having those microwave towers, cell phone towers on campus, like on the building, directly on top.
Right.
So the microwave might not be the issue for people that are directly underneath it as much as it is the voltage that is necessary to operate these kill drill, because it can get to the millions. 250,000 volts to operate only one antenna, and sometimes there's 7, 10, 8. So you can get to the millions. So what that looks like to me is when I see a tower in a house, the floor of that house is electrified. They're walking on 3,000 millivolts when it should be 0. So there's obesity, diabetes, heart problems, arrhythmias, up to a leukemia. Case by case.
Amazing. And that's another thing that we didn't really touch upon precisely, but we're also getting into like the suicide, and there's so much emphasis now with school shootings, gun violence, take away the guns, bring in the police presence, bring in the mental health programs to get the kids in front of shrinks and get them drugged up on psychotropics.
Terrible.
Rather than looking at the causes. So
yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, we're doing whatever we can to try to get the message out for them to look in the right.
Liability for them, and they're resistant. They got the funds and they got the law by the hand.
Exactly, and their intentions are in the right place. They truly do not. They don't know because they don't talk about it on lamestream media. So that's where people go for the truth, and that's not where you'll find it, as you know.
I know. Yes, it's so sad, right? Being that we're so progressive as a society that we can't actually get out there and talk the truth.
Exactly. So
that's why we're having these meetings.
Right. So, thank you for that, and wrapping up with that. And so we don't have a lot of questions, which I hope that means that we're doing a good job with covering, or you're doing a good job with coming right along with a lot of answers. And people watching this are probably getting a little bit, whoa, too many notes, like Beethoven said to Chopin, I'm getting all this information, which is
fast. They can reach out to me and I'll be happy to chat with them.
That's very generous, and we will list that in the comments below, how they can best get
via Facebook or WhatsApp. Like you said, I don't have a cell phone signal, so I usually just cling into a Wi-Fi router where I am. So I try not to ever have, especially when I'm transporting, right? When I'm
right.
From location to location, my phone is off, literally.
Great. Well, that's good. And for those of you out there who are listening, connected with Facebook, just plug in Alfredo Madero and you'll bring up his page, and he invites you to contact him. And he's great with staying in touch. I can vouch for that. He's very.
Over the years, people come look at me for their, their treatments. It's kind of like a boost of health, and the entire family comes in, kids and everything. They take me to Puerto Vallarta or any other destination where they're having fun while I'm working on everyone, because it turns out into a whole day of wellness. I
Oh
cook
my
for
goodness.
you. They know all this and they're doing it, but there's nobody really doing the technique of, it's a demagnetization technique. It's through vasodilation. I developed it out of necessity. I wanted people to get a fix, and it accelerates all the wonders of the other protocols, of the protocol of mitigation. So, all right, good. Now you're giving it electrons. Now let's move them. Let's mobilize your magnetized lymphatic fluid or blood cells.
It's wonderful. I think we need to organize a spa retreat with Alfredo, and they will get the information, they will get the treatments, they'll get advice on the nutrition and the supplements and your reflexology and massage.
They learn how to use the voltmeter, the high frequency, and also they learn how to measure the toxicity of the dirtiness of their electricity. It's three machines.
See if we can put that together. I would love to help you with that. I think
that'd be great. Yes, it's really fun, and I'm sending out more intelligent humans on how to defend themselves and theirs. And
yes, you need to train. You need to train some clones for yourself. Yeah. But I wanted to ask you, since we're in the question and answer now, for parents who are watching, what advice would you have for them to help them address the topic with their children and with other parents and with their school administrators?
I'm sorry, it cut off a little bit. Can you repeat the question?
Sure. For parents who are watching, what advice would you have for them to help them address this topic when they're reaching out with other parents, other teachers, or school administrators, just to help them say, hey?
Absolutely. Here's the number one is go to that classroom, find out where the router is, and have your kid sit the farthest away from it. So every parent is going to do the same thing. You know what I mean? So
right.
Number one, you just go and identify it. Like, just candidly ask the teachers, like, hey, where's your Wi-Fi router? And is your computer wired or through Wi-Fi? So nobody sits there close. Because, distance does matter. In the end, this radiation is perpetual. I mean, we're already committing a crime by creating it to nature, right? And crime to our Mother Earth. But then, okay, sit away from it as far as you can. And then try to talk to the teacher about turning it off. If you're going to speak for an hour, why does the router need to be on?
But when you agree, I mean, that's good. But when you agree that the ideal solution is that they move to hard wiring.
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely. Because as you know, in addition to the health impacts, there's safety, there's surveillance, there's hackability, all of that.
All kinds of security issues, right?
Right.
I like to get involved, so I'd like to make video clips on what it looks like to be wired versus not wired.
Fabulous.
In English with my meter, so that every parent has a little video to send the teacher. Because, they know them, they got their email. And I say, hey, and here's the link, reference links. How's that? I love to get involved and give them the tools so they can help themselves.
Perfect. So now that we're toward the end of our event today, with all the talk about the health impacts from the technology, I'd like to wrap it up on a positive note. Are you seeing signs of increasing awareness among our global communities and, on a positive note where so many people a lot of people don't want to see. They see, but they don't want to see because then they might have to do something about it. And it seems like it'd be hard to change your lifestyle. But I'm seeing positive notes.
I do. You know what? I've been on this for 10 years. I don't know how long you've been, on this topic of radiation and wireless and all that.
About the same.
Before I thought I was just crazy, right? I thought I was the only one. And now I see entire cities and movements. They're coming out to the streets, standing outside of Verizon wireless stores and AT&T and saying, we don't want this.
Yeah. Right. Good. Yes. Well, that is encouraging. And Alfredo, I can't thank you enough for sharing your time, your energy, your passion. There's no hiding that you are naturally, passionately involved with this and sharing your expertise. And you are not in this for the money. We're just so I share with everyone. I don't promote products or services. And with Alfredo, what we are sharing with you is information, and also that he is available and provides a wonderful service. So if you have interest, I hope you'll check it out. But that's not the purpose of this today. The purpose is to share information and maybe provoke some curiosity. So you'll
Why not?
check into it yourself.
Go
So
out there and learn. Don't believe anything. Try to find out yourself, right?
absolutely, absolutely. So with that, thank you very much. Thank you for everyone for tuning in today. So again, thank you very much, Alfredo. You're fabulous, and we will be seeing you again soon, I hope.
Yes, thank you for all your work, Christine.
Bye for now.